If you are struggling to get appetite for raw meat, and you find the idea of eating raw meat disgusting at times, especially red meat, then it's probably because you are over-acidic. Because you have been lacking in raw nutrients your entire life while being poisoned with no toxicity from the environment for your entire life. And when you start eating raw meat and consuming raw milk and stuff like that, then your body uses the raw nutrition and the nutrients which it didn't have for its entire life to absorb and neutralize and to move toxicity away from your body. And this process, because of the toxicity, it makes your blood slightly acidic. Because your blood becomes too acidic, you usually lose appetite for raw meat. And instead you want to drink more raw milk or maybe eat some cooked starch, eat more fruit, but you want to avoid raw meat, especially red meat, because you just lose the appetite. If this is the case, then you can do one of two things. One thing, which is less effective, is eat less red meat and more white meat. Because red meat, for some reason, it's a bit harder to digest, but second, it makes you more acidic. If you lived in nature your entire life, then you could eat mostly red meat and be fine, but you are toxic for your entire life. So it's more beneficial for you to eat white meat like chicken or fish or pork. Pork is half red meat and half white meat and counts like red meat pretty much. But I find that eating pork is making me... I'm able to eat way more pork than beef because it's not purely red meat. And now the more effective thing which you can do if you are too over-acidic and you have no appetite for raw meat is to drink vegetable juice, which is made mostly out of celery and then partly out of parsley or carrots or beets or some other stuff. Now, celery juice, or not celery juice, but vegetable juice, because you're never drinking pure celery. If you drink celery juice alone, it's not effective. You need to be 80% celery at most, and then 20% either parsley or carrots or something else. But carrots are usually the best. Vegetable juice is the least important part of the primal diet, and Aajonus talked about it. The only real reason for celery juice is that if you are over-acidic and you have no appetite for raw meat, then you drink the vegetable juice, which is supposed to alkalize your blood slightly and increase your appetite for raw meat. After you do that, you have more appetite for raw meat, and you are able to eat more raw meat and more fatty recipes like the lubrication formulas, milkshakes, and whatnot. It's not very important, the vegetable juice, because if you have appetite for raw meat, and you don't need to get alkalized to have more appetite for raw meat, then you actually don't need it at all. There are more uses to vegetable juice. For example, it's a rich mineral supplement, because raw milk is rich in minerals and you don't actually need vegetable juices to get enough minerals. You can eat seafood, you can eat organs, you can eat raw milk. But if you have celery and carrots which grow in the middle of the ground and they just take every mineral from the ground into themselves, and then you juice like 20 fucking carrots or something, and you drink the juice of like 20 carrots which were like growing for a year in the ground and absorbing all of the minerals in themselves. If you drink that, that's fuck ton of minerals, probably more than raw milk or raw meat. You don't need it at all if you consume plenty of raw milk or eat seafood. It's not necessary, it's just a benefit. And you don't need to consume vegetable juices for minerals alone. So yeah, it's least important part of the diet. You only need vegetable juice if you have no appetite for raw meat and you want to get alkalized to have more appetite for raw meat. And most people actually don't need it, because most people who eat raw meat are like European teenagers who received way less injections than Americans, who started the diet in their teenage years. And Aajonus talked about two things. People who grew up on raw meat never need vegetable juice ever because they are not toxic since forever. So they are not getting too acidic and they don't need vegetable juices. And second, people who went on the diet around the age like 15, because they are not toxic enough yet, they are probably not going to get acidic enough for them to need vegetable juice. So I don't need vegetable juice. Most of European primals on Instagram who are like 16 don't need vegetable juices because they have enough appetite for raw meat, because they are not going to be over-acidic. If you don't get enough appetite for raw meat, then you probably need to have vegetable juice. The older you were when you started the diet, then the more likely you are going to be too acidic and not have appetite for raw meat. If you have appetite, you don't need it. Now, I don't need it, but I still sometimes drink it, because even though I don't need the extra appetite, I just feel really good after them. My body is telling me, this tastes really fucking good. This refreshes me and hydrates me in the summer when I don't have raw milk, and it's very tasty. And I just feel very good afterwards. I drink it, and my body is like, fuck yeah, like, I love raw meat and raw milk, but I've been eating enough of those for like years. I've never had this vegetable juice, and I fucking love this substance. Dear Yirka, give your body more of these vegetable juices, because I just think it's very good for me. My intuition and senses tell me it's good for me. So that's why I drink vegetable juices, and I will show you how to do it. And I'm not concerned about anti-nutrients, because most of them are in the fiber and not in the juice, first of all. Second, celery has like almost none of them. Third, if you actually taste it, it tastes really fucking good. If you taste pure celery juice and it's cold, even if it's not cold and it's the summer and you are thirsty, it tastes really good. And then you take carrots, which are literally, their juice is literally orange, like an egg yolk. And it's full of sugar and it's sweet like fruit. Like, carrot juice is sweeter and tastes better than some fruits. How is that poisonous? It's literally sweet. And my senses tell me this is good, keep drinking it. The only way for me to stop drinking it is if I have some man-made belief which I cannot prove, which I can just believe in my mind, because goat is said, oh yeah, it has anti-nutrients. But that's just a man-made belief, and I cannot prove these anti-nutrients in nature. I can just use my senses, and I can just drink it and say, my senses tell me it's good, so I should keep drinking it because it's sweet and it makes my body feel good. And whatever. I think you don't even need to argument. Like, honestly, if you have no appetite, and then you drink it, and then you have appetite for raw meat, then that's end of the story. You don't need any science, you don't need any argumentation, you don't need anything. Because there are hundreds of people on the primal diet, or yeah, hundreds, probably more, who eat raw meat, who say that I have no appetite for raw meat, then I drink some vegetable juice, and they have appetite, then I feel better. Bang. Like, what else do you need to prove? If it makes you feel better, then just fucking consume it. Even if it's not natural and it's been cultivated, just fucking do it. Like, I don't even care about nature, I just care about stuff being healthy and good for me, and this is obviously healthy and good for me, if it has these benefits. And now, the last thing I might address is, celery makes you allergic to the sun. Bro, I'm a pale ginger with freckles, and I'm able to work all day inside of the sun, including noon, with barely getting sunburned. And I drink celery juice, which makes me allergic to the sun. How is that? Can you please pause the video and like write me a comment, how is that? How is celery making me allergic to the sun? I'm probably more resilient to the sun than you are, because you aren't even outside, you are just watching goats inside in your flat apartment while talking about nature. Bro. Anyway, celery makes you allergic to the sun if it's applied topically. Not when you drink it, if it's applied topically, then the area which was splashed with the celery, it will be more prone to sunburn or something, but I don't really care. Because the same compounds which make you sunburn from celery are present in like citrus, like oranges as well. So who gives a shit, honestly? You need a bunch of celery, and then you need either parsley or carrots, or some other root vegetable, depending on what issues that you deal with. Most often people use parsley, but I think carrots are the best for several reasons. Because, first of all, they taste the best because they are sweet. And second, celery is so like poor in carbohydrates, and it exists in such a way that you actually need carbohydrates to digest celery. It's like Aajonus said that celery is negative carbohydrates, and in order to digest the celery juice, you need some carbohydrates, and the carrots, they provide the carbohydrates. Second, carrots are good if you have some bile issues. So if you have any problems with digesting fat, or you've been eating a lot of rice in your life, carrots are good. And They also contain quite a lot of water. Like I will need a lot of parsley to make my celery, to make my vegetable juice like more green and whatever. But carrots are so full of water, I just need few carrots and bang, I have the ratio of 80% celery and like 20% carrots if I put like 1 or 2 carrots in there. So it's completely fine. And I don't even like I don't even use the ratio of 80 to like 20. If I was like over acidic and I really wanted to like alkalize my blood properly, or I was really strict and I'm following Aajonus at every bit, then I would use like 1 to 2, 3 carrot. I think 1 carrot per 1 stalk of celery is something which Aajonus recommended. But I will use 3 stalks of celery and I will use the entire bag of carrots. This is too much carrots, and it will not hold the ratio. It will still alkalize my blood and it will clean me. But only issue is that it might be too much sugar. But I honestly don't care because I don't even drink this to like alkalize myself and to be a strict primal dieter. I drink this for taste, for pleasure, and for hydration, and it makes me feel great at the same time. And having quite a bit more sugar and make it sweeter with the carrots, it actually doesn't bother me. And you might find out that using more carrots actually still helps you to regain your appetite. So I use carrots. I might not drink this in the morning because then you don't want to consume sugar in huge amounts in first 4 hours of the day. So I might not won't drink this in the morning, right in the morning. But I have no issue with there being slightly more sugar than there is supposed to. Most importantly, by using carrots, I have way more water inside of it. So I have way more volume of a juice. So I have more hydration. And then I even mix it with some water, so it hydrates me. So I have more volume of fluids to hydrate me. Now, besides the celery, and by the way, this is not organic fruit. This is probably full of fucking glyphosate that will fucking kill you. And what you need to do is you need one of two things. Either a fuck ton of apple cider vinegar, like, this is probably not enough, honestly, even. Or, I'm not saying and, I'm saying or, baking soda. Because the way Aajonus would clean pesticides of fruits or vegetables is he would like cut them in small pieces, he would like put it in some pot, and he would bathe it. He wouldn't like wash it, he would bathe it for several minutes or even more in a pot which is full of water and full of whey and full of apple cider vinegar and maybe raw milk as well. And that might be very effective. Or if you don't have whey or you don't have enough apple cider vinegar or stuff like that, I think whey and milk and apple cider vinegar combined could be the best. If you have apple cider vinegar alone, I don't think it's as effective as mixing it with whey as well. But if you don't have these, then I think the best thing you can use is baking soda. There have been studies showing that the alkaline solution, because all these things are acidic, and this is alkaline, baking soda is extremely effective, or at least more effective than apple cider vinegar alone, to get pesticides to get your fruit and vegetables rid of pesticides. Wait, an important disclaimer. You do not mix apple cider vinegar with baking soda, because you will explode. No, you will not, but baking soda is alkaline and apple cider vinegar is, acidic. And if you mix these two, it will not do fucking anything, because then you will have neutralized both of these things. What you might do is like wash it in apple cider vinegar and then wash it in baking soda after, but not together. I fill these pots in water. I actually first put in the vegetables and then put in water. But if there's fuck ton of vegetables, like, it's harder to spread the baking soda around. So what I will be doing from now on is just putting the baking soda inside of the water before I put in the vegetables, so I can make sure the solution is like, so it spreads around. And I actually don't know how much baking soda, but I believe it was something like 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon per liter. I have no clue. I just use enough for the water to get murky, and I absolutely don't care. I just use a random amount and then I like spread it around. And this is how jacked I am. Like, I barely work out, guys. The primal diet is a good idea to do. Like fucking look at this, bro. I don't even work out. I work out like once a week. I want to get rid of the root part, of this white part, and of the leaves, and of this weird fucking leafy part which is in the middle, the flower part, because it doesn't really taste that good compared to the rest of the celery. Are extremely simple. You just get rid of this part and that's about it. I don't even remove the skin. I just wash the pesticides off with this, and then I don't feel like I need to peel them, honestly. It doesn't taste bitter in the juice, it's fine. Now I let the vegetables soak in the baking soda solution for a few minutes, and then I pour the water off, and then I wash it with well water again, so it gets the baking soda off the vegetables. If your aversion to raw meat is real bad and you feel like nauseous when you eat it, then it can also very well be that you have like probably the problems with bile or with producing hydrochloric acid. So you might try to add some beets, to add some beetle juice into your juice. Like instead of some carrots, add in like beetle juice, because that will promote your body creating hydrochloric acid, which can make you digest meat better. Or use the carrots, which fixes your bile issues and makes you less nauseous because of fat or whatever. And sometimes, if your issue isn't really like lack of appetite for raw meat, but nausea when you start to eat raw meat, even though you had appetite in the first place, then maybe what you can do is eat raw, unripe pineapple together with the meat, or raw papaya, ideally unripe. Papaya is better for protein, pineapple is better for fat, but yeah, pineapple is extremely effective. Whenever, and it doesn't happen often, but whenever I eat some cooked slop, usually like Hare Krishna food from a farm with ingredients which they grow themselves on their own field, which is seasonal, and then they drown it in butter. They don't even fry it. They just boil it, but in butter, so in ghee. So when I eat that kind of slop full of like cooked dry salty foods, and I have absolutely hard time digesting it. And no, I don't do this often. Last time it was like 3 months ago. Then I remember eating an raw unripe pineapple made me relieved very quick. And I also heard other people that when they ate raw butter after starting the primal diet, they will get very nauseous and want to vomit. But after eating raw unripe pineapple, that went away. So if you have nausea and have trouble, not like low appetite for meat, but trouble digesting meat, then try to mix it with raw unripe pineapple. Yes, you might recall that you do not mix red meat with fruit according to Aajonus Wonder Planets, but papaya and pineapple are expections which he himself said you can eat with them. Probably because of the enzymes which, I don't know, make it work differently than other fruits which are not as rich in digestive enzymes. Obviously, I have a completely shit juicer which isn't Green Star, and it's not like non-masticating juicer or whatever you need for vegetable juice. Like ideally, you have a Green Star vegetable juice and not this kind of random cheap piece of shit. But honestly, this random cheap piece of shit juicer and drinking juice from this juicer is probably more appealing to me and like more fun and healthier for me than drinking no juice at all. And what I've heard the main issue with this kind of juicer, which is not non-masticating, but it's like you push it there and it's like spinning fast and whatever. The problem is, if you have this kind of juicer, then it supposedly oxidizes the juice too much, which then makes it ferment too fast and maybe make it lose some nutrients. Some slight nutrient loss is not significant because the main reason you drink it for is not nutrients, but to get alkalized. And this still happens even with this shit juicer. Now, the fermentation might be a problem. if you were extremely healthy, then probably it wouldn't be a problem and you could drink like rotten vegetable juice and be fine. But fermented vegetable juice is supposedly very detoxifying, and you might get some cold or flu or something if it's too like fermented. But if you put it in the fridge and you put like some honey in it to like preserve it, and maybe I will show you later, then it will last like a fucking week. In the summer, it will last like a week, maybe less. It will last 5 days at least. It might get like a little fermented, especially if you add in too much carrots with sugar. But I absolutely wouldn't worry about it. It will last you 3 days at least, maybe more, maybe more. How most people make juices is like this. They start the fucking juicer, and then they are putting things in it. Chaotically, like this. Like, no. This is not how you make a fucking juice. By starting the juicer and then putting stuff in it. What is and yes, this is plastic and it's shit. And I'm probably eating pieces of plastic, but honestly, I think it's worth it for me. It's worth it to consume some plastic and not have to buy a Green Star for me, because it's very temporary. I might do that in the future. But yes, even this plastic it's better than no juicer, honestly. Now, the way you make any kind of fucking juice is not you leave it fucking running and you keep throwing stuff in it like a retard and let it running and let it noisy all the fucking time. And then when you put in some celery, you rush in to close it so it doesn't like spill on you. No. You turn it the fuck off, and then you patiently, while it's not making any fucking noise, you fill it, then you close it, and only then you fucking turn it on. Then you turn it back off again, and you do this like, I don't know, whatever amount of times you need to do this to get through this. It's way more peaceful to do it this way. Even before I add in the carrots, I don't know if this looks appetizing to you. In winter, maybe not. But if it's the summer, if the glass of this is cold, and if I'm thirsty, this is extremely fucking appetizing, and it tastes awesome. It's pleasurable to drink this. My senses are not telling me to stay away from this. My senses are literally telling me to drink this, even though it's green and whatever. It tastes kind of salty and very mineral rich, and it tastes like extremely hydrating. I can just tell that like this is like 10 times more hydrating than water, and I'm probably not exaggerating. I think 100 milliliters of this will give you more hydration than a liter of water. Maybe, possibly. There is this story from Aajonus Wonder Planets talking about some sort of primal people, I mean tribal people, being kidnapped and being forced to live in whatever, some British facility. And there were these kids from the tribe who decided that they will run away from the facility. And they went for like several tens, if not hundreds of miles, in like a fucking desert or bush or savanna or something like that. And they had absolutely no water during the entire trip. The only thing that they drank during the entire fucking trip was like, they took some roots, something like a carrot, but even not cultivated, so like even more bitter and less sweet. They took some fucking root. They chewed the root. They drank the vegetable juice inside of the root, and they spit out the pulp. And they did this like few times. And from these few milliliters of fucking vegetable juice, they were able to like go miles and miles in the fucking desert with no water or something along those lines. And we will never be able to do this because we are cooked. Pun intended. Like we eating cooked foods, which are drying our tissues and organs and whatever out for our entire lives. And we are consuming salt and cereals and shit, so we won't be able to do that. But yeah, it just goes to show that Vegetable juice is really fucking hydrating, way better than water. It's time to add in the carrots, and admit, even though carrot juice is like extremely appetizing looking and orange and bright and like an egg yolk, if you mix these two, like the beautiful bright orange and this beautiful green liquid together, then I admit it will look like shit because the orange and green together will create like some brown. And that just shows you that you are not supposed to mix stuff of different colors. And this goes beyond vegetables. Besides looking like shit, it actually tastes really great. I love the taste of celery juice alone, but the carrots honestly make it even better, because then it's like sweet. If I wasn't concerned about carbs, which you should be because of advanced glycation byproducts, but that's a completely different topic than this video, or let's say you are not concerned about eating too many carbs, or you're an athlete and you actually want to eat carbs, you want to eat raw carbs in some way, then what I will do is I would probably drink raw vegetable juice to get my carbs, even instead of honey or fruit. I think raw carrot juice and fresh raw milk are the best sources of carbs, honestly. But yeah, it's sugar. I don't want to consume too much sugar. So if I mix those carrots with a fuck ton of celery juice, which is like negative carbohydrates, and it's like has no carbohydrates in it, then I think it's not too much sugar. If I wasn't concerned, I could have pure carrot juice, and it tastes really fucking good and sweet. And not to the sweet, it will make your fucking teeth hurt, like some fruit juice, which you will get disgusted by after a while, unless it's incredibly hot. It's something you can keep drinking, like even in the winter, and it will still be pleasurable, and you will still crave it. But yeah, it depends on how much sugar you want. Well, at least I'm not mixing blackberries and I don't know what kind of fruit is white. If you're finished, then you need to do few things to preserve it. First of all, what you always need to do is to add in some raw honey to the thing. And unfortunately, I'm running out of honey, so I won't have enough honey. I'm absolutely sure that there exists a specific ratio, like, I don't know, 1 teaspoon of raw honey per 1 quart of vegetable juice or something like that. But I absolutely do not care. What you need to do is just to randomly pick a random small amount of honey and randomly intuitively throw it in there. Not big enough to like turn it into meat and ultra sweet, but just not like this. Let's say I will use a full teaspoon, but I do not have a teaspoon of honey, unfortunately. Maybe I do if I scrape it off camera. I actually know why, and I don't know how, but adding the honey in there will help you preserve the minerals in it and make it ferment less or something like that. Because honey is antimicrobial or whatever the fuck. I don't understand a thing, but Aajonus said so, and every time I did something Aajonus said, like 90% of the time it fucking worked. The thing you can do if you plan to have it for a longer time than like few days, if you want to drink it throughout the week, you add in a little bit of lemon juice. Not a little, just a little bit. Again, I have absolutely no fucking clue why actually that is. But small amount of lemon juice will keep it from fermenting for longer. Why? No clue. No clue. You can add in lime juice. Now, lime juice is actually antibiotic, and that's why it will make it ferment less. So it's not advised to use lime juice often, and basically don't use lime juice if you don't have to. If you have some huge amount that you really don't want to ferment, then you can use lime juice, but otherwise you don't want to use it because it's antibiotic and it will kill off your gut bacteria. How fucking ever. People saying this forget that Aajonus literally recommended that every day, alongside you eat your one fruit together with your fruit meal, he recommended a drink called the sports drink, which is a drink made of apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and then a bunch of ingredients, fuck ton of ingredients, including cream, coconut cream, what was it, and then puree like tomatoes or cucumbers and watermelon with no sugar and stuff like that. And inside of this formula, which you are supposed to drink daily, there was the fucking lime juice, because there is some specific I don't know, acid or something like that, which is good at detoxing or neutralizing some compounds inside of you, and it works like a good solvent. And Aajonus was aware of it being antibiotic and even recommended using this as antibiotics if you are very fucking sick. And yet he told you to use it, to add the lime juice inside of the sports drink. Because if you add enough lemon juice, then the lemon juice, which is actually a probiotic, and will make foods marinate faster because it's a probiotic. If you use lemon juice, it will actually neutralize the antibiotic effects of the lime juice. But then, if you neutralize the antibiotic effects of the lime juice, will the lime juice still help you to not ferment it? And then, if lemon juice is probiotic, how can it help you to not ferment it and doesn't make it ferment faster? Again, I have absolutely no fucking clue. And I absolutely don't fucking care, honestly, because I just do whatever Aajonus says. So yeah, few drops of this, few more drops of this, and I think I'm fine. It's not going to be sour. It's not going to be enough for me to notice it in taste. And now I will just shake it and not stir it. Oh, there I have it. There I have it. It's murky, it's cloudy, and it looks awesome. Do you see the, like, it's like a beer actually. It's a Primal imitation of beer, like with the foam. Wait, I will try to get a foam mustache. Nope, I failed. Too bad. So, you are supposed to drink this cold. I don't actually know if there is an extra benefit to drinking this cold, but you are certainly supposed to store it as cold as you can in the fridge. Obviously not in a fucking freezer, but you are supposed to store it in cold so it ferments slower, and then you are likely going to drink it cold anyway. Like, I see no reason to warm it up after you've been storing it in cold when you drink it, because when it's colder, it tastes better. It's like way more pleasurable. It's like a fucking beer, like cold vegetable juice in the middle of the fucking summer if you are thirsty. My god. Wow. I have no words for how pleasurable it is to drink that. Maybe I could even fucking throw some ice cubes in it, honestly. And yeah, the way you're supposed to drink this, actually, is as slow as you can. So, what Aajonus said is you drink like one ounce, which is like 30 millimeters per minute. Otherwise, if you drink faster, you will piss most of it out, and you will not use it in order to alkalize your blood and to whatever. Everything you consume, the richer and more important it is for your body, the slower you drink it. So I take like a sip. And now I will try to not drink for like a half a minute or a minute before taking another sip. And that's the way you're supposed to be drinking it. You're supposed to drink like at least half a cup, but ideally a cup at once, at a time. If you are over acidic and you want to alkalize yourself to get more appetite for raw meat, then you're supposed to drink at least half a cup, but ideally a cup of this, by drinking it like 1 ounce per minute, and stopping. The slower you drink it, the better. And I don't know how many times a day. I think once a day is usually enough for most people. And when you drink it, it's extremely important that you drink this at least 1 hour apart from any raw meat or raw dairy. Because this will alkalize your stomach acid for a while, and you will not be able to digest meat with this in your system. So, let's say you drink this, then you cannot eat meat for another hour. In the same way, you cannot drink this if you had raw meat for the last hour. So 1 hour before and 1 hour apart after, you don't want to consume any raw meat. With raw milk, it's kind of different. With raw milk, I think it's like half an hour, but I just treat it like 1 hour. 1 hour before this and 1 hour after this, I do not consume any protein because I would not be able to digest it. What you might do, what you definitely should do, is when you drink your vegetable juice and you put it in a cup, which is like a cup big or half a cup, when you don't drink from the container like me, you put it into a fucking cup. What you do right before drinking, you add in a raw egg or some raw cream, but ideally like a raw egg. Because since this is kind of detoxifying, it's like full of minerals, it's full of... I don't know how to describe it, but it can make you feel kind of unbalanced. Some people I've heard get like a... 1 out of 10 people get like a headache or something while drinking this, because it's... because they get like protein deficiency or something when they drink this. So what you're supposed to do is you need to add in like a raw egg or raw cream, but ideally a raw egg, in the container with which you are drinking the vegetable juice. Otherwise you probably won't, but you might get some mild side effects. And if these mild side effects scare you from fixing your appetite, then don't drink it, I don't care. You don't add in the raw egg inside of the container right away and then let the raw egg like ferment there and be there for hours. No, you always put it into separate container, and then before drinking you add in the raw egg into the separate container, and you will not digest the raw egg because you will be too alkaline to digest it, but you will use the proteins and the fats to like detox you or clean your butt or whatever. You'll use it in a different kind of manner. So yeah, away from meat or apart from meat, you drink cold and with raw egg, and you sip it as slow as you can, and you drink like a 1 cup at a time, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more. That's about it, honestly. And one last thing is, you can actually dilute it with water. I just talked about it. Water will make your digestive system too alkaline and not acidic and make you unable to digest raw meat. But so will vegetable juice, so it's not a big issue. It's not a big issue, and by adding some water in it, you will have way more volume of juice, and you will not decrease the potency and the ability of the juice to alkalize your blood that much. I wouldn't do like half water and half juice, because then I will be decreasing the potency of the juice. But if I have like this, let's say, that's like 4/5 or something like that of the jar are juice, then the fifth I will fill with the water, because that will not decrease the potency enough, and it will add in the volume of juice that I can drink, first of all. And second of all, even if it did decrease the potency, or if I had less juice, then I would probably, for myself, I will still dilute it with a little bit of water, because I don't drink this to get alkaline, I drink this to get hydration. So I will rather have like, I don't know, 2 liters of fluid, which is like 7 out of 10 hydrating, than to have like 1.5 liter of fluid, which is like 9 or 10 out of 10 hydrating. It will be slightly less hydrating if I add in water, but there will be way more of fluid. So in total, I will be way more hydrated if I add in some water. Because I deliver raw milk right now, and I do drink some water throughout the day. And if you mix the water with some stuff which isn't water, you will digest the water better and you will get better hydrated. So that's what I'm going to do with this vegetable juice. The perfect time to consume this vegetable juice is in the morning, if you wake up and you don't have appetite for a raw meat, like you don't want to eat raw meat because you just don't have appetite, then the best thing you can do in the morning is to drink vegetable juice. If you don't have appetite, drink vegetable juice the first thing in the morning alongside with some raw eggs. Maybe drink some raw eggs before the vegetable juice so that you get some protein in your system, and then have some vegetable juice. If you do have appetite for raw meat, then you should just eat raw meat in the morning, and then if you lose it afterwards for the entire day, then you drink it after the raw meat, or you drink it before your next planned meat meal. That's what you do. Do you remember how I told you have to wait at least 1 hour before and after to eat raw meat? If you drink vegetable juice the first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and if you have some raw eggs in the morning, or raw cheese, which if you know Aajonus, then the raw cheese strain. If you have like raw cheese strain and then raw eggs in the morning, almost no food, just small amount of like eggs, and then you drink the vegetable juice first thing in the morning after the eggs, then you don't have to wait 1 hour before you can eat the raw meat, but you can only wait like 45 minutes, and then you can eat the raw meat. First thing in the morning, if you drink it, you can wait 45 minutes and you can get either raw meat. But then rest of the day, when your stomach isn't completely clean and empty, you have to wait 1 hour. But first thing in the morning is 45 minutes. And that's about it. I've mixed it with some water. Raw milk is a million times more healthier for you than vegetable juice, of course. And I would always prefer raw milk to vegetable juice. But I can absolutely imagine a hot summer day when I'm thirsty, where I prefer a pint of cold vegetable juice to raw milk. If you found all of my information amusing and interesting, and think that I know my stuff, then you can check out the first link in the description and check out my school, where I put out a lot more valuable information like this. Now, eat raw meat, get tan, and grow your hair out.